side either. As we are now back into this pick and ban, looks like we've got the same one so far, the Aurelia and the Olaf. And it's so interesting that of all of the things to change and nerf on the Kazakhs, it was the evolved R for reduced stealth. And I feel like that's going to change his playstyle quite a bit. Do you still go for the R evolve first for combat?
Not really. So from what I've seen, it's actually been more about the dueling power for Kazakhs right now on 8.11, and it is the Q max. But coming back to 8.10, the big things that haven't changed, that weren't touched were basically the marksman changes. ADCs still have a job on this patch, basically. And Runic Echoes is still quite an inferior item compared to 8.11, so there's no things like Talia running around. Well,
that's still very good for Betty, as he will lock in Kaisa for this game 1, as the marksmen are still employed on patch 8.10. They don't have to worry about checking the classified and looking for any new gainful employment to keep them covered on the other side. Because Korea, they're also running with a marksman themselves. Ezreal locked in for Ruler. It looks like we've got a Trundle picked up. That could be going to Peanut. That could be going to Core JJ. We'll see.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's more Peanut-centric. This is how Peanut likes to play. He likes to play those duelists that can go into your enemy jungle and just be certain that you're going to win the matchup because of the champion you pick right here. I think the Ezreal is also incredibly important. Wasn't touched on 8.10. On 8.11, his Qs with Triforce have basically been taken down by like 40 damage a shot. It was not a light nerf. It was an incredibly heavy nerf. So Ezreal is a very high priority champion, still on 8.10.
Still going to be putting out some big damage in this one, but Graves is the pickup now for Bebe on this 8.10. The Scuttle Crab changes have completely changed how junglers interact with each other, and those dueling junglers are so important, are so vital. Graves, one of the few champions who can really make do with that, and now they've got a Karma locked in, probably for Maple in the mid lane, to help provide the Ardent Sensor for that Graves, for that Kaisa. But that's Faker's Yasuo locked in to deal with it.
Yeah, this is actually a really fast ban pick phase, and the Trundle-Yasuo combo is something that we have seen being played in the LPL playoffs as well. It's a really easy to execute Trundle, Pillar, into an immediate Yasuo at the last breath, and that just kills mid laners so incredibly fast. This is a very dangerous combo coming out from Korea.
And especially with all of the vision changes as well as a result of the Scuttle Crab changes, that could mean that we see a lot more action in this mid lane, or perhaps even in the mid game, once that Trundle is unlocked to maneuver around the map. Already the Black Shield being taken away, so no Morgana to be able to protect anyone from the Trundle knockback or get away out of that Yasuo knockup. We'll see what the follow-up is going to be from the Chinese Taipei team to deal with this, because right now it looks like Korea have a very clear strategy. Set up around that Faker Yasuo and then just follow through with Ruler's Ezreal hammering down from the side.
They basically have set up their composition. They can play very safe into the bot lane and move all of their pieces into the mid and try to get Faker rolling. So that's a very clear strategy coming out, and the Morgana ban is really important to note, because on 8.10, Morgana plus Kaisa is one of the strongest bot lanes you can possibly get. It can consistently push into the lane, and Kaisa's laning weakness is really covered up by that. Not to mention the late game is super dangerous when she's flying around and can't be CC controlled. So you can definitely see they're very worried about Betty getting out of hand and taking away as much protection as they possibly can. On the flip side, Chinese Taipei, they're taking away all of the knockups. They don't want Faker to be enabled anymore.
Anything that you can possibly do to try to limit Faker is what Chinese Taipei is doing right now. But Korea, like you said, they're getting rid of the Protect the Kaisa champions. That Tom Kench now also going to be taken away from Sword Art. So Betty will have his work cut out for him in these later team fights. Heck, why not? Throw the Nami in there. It counts as a knockup even more.
Oh, yeah, it does. And that's such a strong lane. That's like a throwback to 2016 when EDG's death brought this combination to the world. It's incredibly powerful at level 3. You actually do the double Q at level 3 and not into your not take points into your W and go for a straight all-in. That's incredibly dangerous, and we do have to watch for that power spike.
We'll absolutely keep an eye on that bottom lane, because now Betty, oh Betty, he's going to have some trouble down there. But Singed is now locked in for PK on the top side of the map. We don't know if that Trundle is going to be going perhaps into the jungle. Maybe Keen will be taking that in the top lane to round out, because now that Singed is going to be running rampant across the map. And are we going to see double marksman, double support Singed out of Chinese Taipei here?
It looks like an 8.11 meta.
Yeah, I know.
I'm seeing this all the time. And this is a lot of trust being put into Betty's hands, basically. I actually don't think they're going to use any of their abilities on Bebe. Bebe's there for the smoke screen, but Betty is the real deal. A lot of people might not know of him. He hasn't done that well in international tournaments, but he did hold on to Korea rank 1 for a while. So I guarantee you, all of these players know who Betty is. They know what he can do.
We're going to find out what that's going to be in this one, as Gangplank is now the final champion for Korea. Keen will be taking that in the top lane, which means Peanut is taking Trundle in the jungle. We'll be getting into this actual game. What are we actually looking for in terms of strategy for these two teams? Because we've got the Lulu, we've got the Kaisa for Chinese Taipei, and of course the Singe on the top half of the map. Is it just going to be Bebe roaming around and trying to control the jungle while the lanes scale up and support him?
Well, the big focal point, again, is Betty, and I think Chinese Taipei here actually has a very good team composition because they have the jungle control, and they also have top lane that basically nobody on the Korean team can catch. There's not enough engaged to really lock down the Singe. So what they're going to do is just have the moving pieces in mid lane, in jungle, in top lane, and make sure that AD carry Betty is going to be able to scale into the late game. On the flip side, for Korea, it mainly is about getting all their pieces towards mid. I don't really expect any solo action from their side lanes. It's all going to be about can Faker get that combination with Peanut's pillar and try to snowball out of control.
The old 1-2 combo. Faker even taking Conqueror on this Yasuo for follow-up damage. He's looking for the 1-2 punch, and not just the crit and sustain that we expect from Yasuo. Again, this is on patch 8.10, so it doesn't quite have to worry about the new Infinity Edge just yet. So could be going for the more standard Yasuo build, very crit focused very early on. We already can see PK and Bebe on the invade. They're spotting out Peanut right now and just trading some wards. Oh, Bebe, not quite able to clear it. Graves, not known for his attack speed very early on.
This is definitely something we're seeing from the MSI forward, that level 1 invades are so important. It's really easy to put people behind in the jungle right now, especially on 8.10. So you see with that single invade, even though they didn't follow up with it, Peanut is playing it incredibly safe, waiting in the brush behind red.
And just making sure that he's got that leash from Keen as well, as it's a double red start from our two junglers. I'm going to be interested to see if we actually see Scuttle Crabs traded early on, as is standard for most of the 8.10. I mean, trying to get both Scuttle Crabs before the third spawn, or I suppose the second spawn, is usually looking for trouble. I think Graves is a champion who can sort of skirmish over that, but already he's stepping out into the jungle, and it looks like Peanut did go for a quick rotation to this bottom half of the map, so perhaps Korea could be looking to upset the balance of things, as Peanut is just sitting at the blue buff, and Scuttle Crab is started out by Bebe.
I have to say he's definitely out of luck. There's no champion that can contest that Scuttle at level 2, and it's not even about Scuttle anymore. Bebe is going straight in for the blue buff on Peanut. He knows where he started, and he packed accordingly.
Yeah, the blue buff hasn't been reset. CoreJJ shows up with the quick heal, but Smite secure means that Bebe's not going to get this, or actually, excuse me, he will get it with the auto attack, it looked like. Peanut will not get the secure.
So what happened right there is that Peanut actually did use the smite, and Bebe held on to his, but still got the blue buff anyway. That's a massive problem for Peanut right here. You can see he's running out of mana, and because of the wave cure coming out from Sword Art's Karma, they were able to rotate their supports here as well.
And though CoreJJ was able to show up first the moment Sword Art appeared, that meant that Peanut had to back out of the jungle. That pressed the attack Trundle, still not quite able to skirmish with that Graves this early on. And that will be some more camps being taken by Bebe as he's controlling this bottom half of the map. And that's something that's definitely going to feel good for Betty, especially on this Kaisa. Knowing that you've got the safety of Scuttle Crab, the safety of your jungler on this half of the map, means that that low range AD carry of Kaisa can just sit back, farm, and try to control the wave.
Yeah, at this point, Bebe has taken more camps out of Peanut's jungle than Peanut has taken from his own. He's taken the entire right-hand side right now, and PK's coming to contest Peanut as well. Maple also has the push here.
Oh, flung away. He's going to have to flash over the wall. Peanut sitting in the pit, and even Maple showing up to make sure the summoner spell actually gets burned. Bebe, if you take a look, he's at the Raptor camp of Peanut right now, bullying away Faker. This is not a great start to this game for Korea.
Yeah, Korea just doesn't have any lane control right now. Even the Yasuo matchup into the Lulu individually, that's not a very easy matchup to play. You actually get pushed in quite early on. But of course, PK here does pay a little bit for his roaming, and Keen is able to push him out of lane.
Oh no, Peanut just got executed by the Krug camp. Ooh, that's a bit of a mistake. Look, it happens to the best of us and the worst of us. We all know everybody, at one time or another in your life, that's going to slow you down. But already, Bebe, he's level 3 to the level 2 of Peanut. He's just picked up himself a fresh blue buff and still has 4 camps in his own jungle to worry about, along with now taking both Scuttle Crabs. This looks like a great start to Chinese Taipei's game against Korea.
Yeah, it does look like Peanut actually just lost the will to live right there. Like, all of his camps being taken away so early on, and the situation isn't really going to be better. His side lanes are still going to get pushed in, so he probably had a lot on his mind fighting those Krugs.
Maybe not calculating the damage that they can do or the health that he had quite as closely as you would hope, as we are starting to see some recalls, but Bebe still just going for the full clear. Now at the Raptor camp, still has 2 refillable potion charges. He is fully stacked up, 35 to 13. And before Peanut wanted to synergize, we were expecting him to want to synergize with Faker, using that pillar to try and set Faker up for success. Well, Faker's still doing great in the CS. He's at 35 to 34. And still has got plenty of opportunity, as I believe this minion wave is going to be what takes him over to 6. So that could start to unlock the roam a little bit. That just means I think Peanut is going to be weaker.
Yeah, it definitely isn't a one-shot combo anymore coming out from Korea's side. If Graves manages to show up, even if you combo perfectly, I don't think Korea can win at this point. Their 2v2 is just going to fall behind really hard because of the level difference that Bebe has right now. And we've been seeing this on 8.10 for quite a while. It's not uncommon for junglers on the losing side to still be level 7 on their 3rd buff rotation.
Yeah.
And that might actually happen, because we can keep a count on the Scuttle so far. It's 2-0 in Chinese Taipei's favor, and I'm not sure if they're going to get any Scuttles on Peanut's side.
Yeah, we did see the recall out of Bebe, going for that Skirmisher's Saber and a Longsword now, along with those control wards, invading aggressively into the jungle of Korea. Now PK, he's level 6, he's found Keen, but look at this, here comes Bebe. While PK might be zoning, he uses the dematerializer. Bebe is stepping up to bat, and Keen is running for his life. He doesn't have teleport, he doesn't have anything that can save him. He's just going to look for the outplay. Does he have what it takes? It doesn't look like he does. Walking through the turret, flash, auto attack, and a quick orange to tell himself that it's all right. But he hops back over the wall, running deep into enemy territory. Meanwhile, you can see Maple is skirmishing a bit with Peanut and Faker, as a lot of time is being wasted. Bebe's actually getting a huge hit from that Sheen proc before Maple's finally going to catch up and finish off the kill. First blood to Chinese Taipei. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Peanut trying to make a gank happen, lands the pillar, but no bubble follow-up.
Yeah, that was actually good play from Keen right there. It gave Trundle so much time to actually roam around and get resources on the map. You can see in that time period, he took another 2 camps and closed the distance away from Bebe. But of course, Singe is going to be Singe on 8.10. I think he's the best champion in the top lane. There is no contest so far, and all the items are still in his favor. So it really is going to be a problem about, okay, so Keen, you're going to lose in lane. How are you going to use that Cannon Barrage to actually get some value out of this game plan pick?
Well, we're going to have to find out. As Keen, you could start to see some of the damage that Gangplank was doing, even against Singed and the Graves before they had built up too many resistances. So they do have a little bit of late game insurance with that Gangplank, but you just have to start wondering, which would you rather have? Late game Kaisa or late game Gangplank?
I think that's pretty self-evident. I think Gangplank in this scenario, you're really there to assist one of your lanes. I don't think your late game potential is something you really brag about. But so far, it just doesn't look like Korea has found solid footing in any of these lanes. Like, they still don't have any kills, and the CS score in all 3 lanes is actually being suppressed quite hard, with the exception of King.
Already we're seeing Chinese Taipei even proxying the minion wave behind a turret down in this bottom lane. PK was doing the same thing on that Singed on the top half of the map. Now he's got himself that Ninja Tabbies to make it just a little bit easier. And that's actually Maple with the faster rotation than Faker down to the bottom half of the map with Bebe, just to keep Ruler and Core JJ away from these minions, away from safe farm.
And we do have to note why this happened. It was because PK was able to proxy farm in the top lane and his wards caught out where Peanut was. So Bebe knew that there was no contest in the bottom side of the map, and they forced Ruler and Core JJ off of that farm. And that's actually quite significant because it's delaying Core JJ from his level 6.
And that being delayed is going to keep down the Korean team for a little bit longer. Still level 5 from Core JJ, but they're starting off the Dragon here as recalls were just finished from Betty and Sword Art, so they find themselves off the map. Still impeccable timing from the Korean squad to have the presence of mind to recognize that window to take that neutral objective. And while that Ocean Dragon is going to help them sustain in this laning phase, it's still very risky. Bebe, are they just outside of vision? They might be just over the other side of the ward. No pings just yet. Keen steps up to bat. He's got the cannon barrage. That's the fling. A knockup to follow through. Stopwatch stalls it out as PK juggles the turret aggro, but Bebe has got enough damage. Collateral is going to get the kill.
There was just nothing they could do right there. And once again, they were able to make that play because they knew where Peanut was on the map. He just took Ocean Drake, and the whole map knows about that fact. And they just said, okay, he's bot lane. We have a 3v1 here. It's a simple play.
And that is going to be another kill over to Chinese Taipei. You can see the push down into the bottom lane. Meanwhile, Faker's working on that mid-tier 1, trying to get first brick. He's got the minion wave to finish it off, and lots of attack speed. Despite the attempted push from Chinese Taipei, it's defended in the top lane by a teleport from Keen. So though the kills go over to Chinese Taipei, Korea still responding correctly with the macro plays to open up that gold again.
Yeah, and Korea actually now has the gold lead. Overall, that was a very good trade from them. Yasuo pushing him by himself and taking down the tower. Usually you don't see that play that much. Usually you see the Yasuo try to find something in other lanes, roam around, but Faker, realizing the situation, realizing that he needs to get himself ahead before anyone else on this composition, goes in alone and grabs the gold lead.
And that is going to help set that Yasuo up quite a bit. He's already got the Berserker Greaves. He's got the triple dagger. This could be Korea showing that composure that we expect from historically the greatest region in the world. They've got the most world title wins. They've got the most region wins in international. This could be them showing why, because they do have that composure in these difficult situations. Faker on that Yasuo, set up to carry. Ruler set to support him on that Ezreal, and the rest of the team all waiting in the wings, ready to prop Faker up even more.
Yeah, the big question is, when is the first last breath going to really come out? We haven't seen it so far. Korea hasn't been able to group, and I think that's one of the big challenges of this Wombo combo type of team composition, is that if you have a constantly pushing lane in the top, or you have Betty getting out of control, things are really hard for Korea to execute.
They certainly are. They have the opportunity if they can pull Chinese Taipei out of position, but if you take a look at the vision from Chinese Taipei right now, it's actually fairly comfortable. They've got defensive wards on the bottom half of the map because Bebe's playing on the top half. And on that side, they've got themselves plenty of offensive wards. They're keeping an eye on the red buff, keeping an eye on the Tribe, keeping an eye even on the entrance to the Raptor camp so that Bebe can take the Rift Herald like he's just done. Now, Sword Art is out of position, flashes away, and is able to make it out of the cannon barrage. Teleport coming in from PK. He's looking to catch up Betty. He's going to let them go as the Pillar of Filth denies any chase. Meanwhile, Faker caught on the wrong side of things between Bebe and Maple. Ducks into the minion wave. Oh, he does. Is he going to look for the outplay here? Yeah, he does. He's got that Steel Tempest ready. Bebe trying to catch up. Oh, looking for the knockup, perhaps predicting the blue buff as double flash. Bebe a little bit late. Faker still going to back all the way up to the minion wave. The slow will actually tag onto him this time. He's got no flash. Gets into the minions. And he's got the wind wall in just about 2 seconds. Faker is out of there.
Such a good outplay for Faker right there. Actually burning 2 flashes from the enemy team and really absorbing all the XX pressure coming out from the play in the bot lane as well. So really good play right there. I think poor JJ, he kind of missed out on his ultimate a little bit. I think he could have went closer to the walls, but good things from Chinese Taipei's bot lane, being able to avoid everything, and they're actually doing a lane swap right now because PK did teleport during the play towards the bot lane.
He's only 8 CS down behind that gangplank as Trinity Force has been completed from Keen. He is ready to start chunking some people out, and that minion wave gets pushed in. Meanwhile, Betty on that Kaisa. No Guinsu's finished just yet, though he is still 16 CS ahead of Ruler. So this could be him trying to focus on getting this gold before any next major objectives spawn, because the next dragon is up in 90 seconds. There could be more incentive on Chinese Taipei to take a look at that, considering Korea picked up that first ocean.
Well, this definitely is Korea's best chance to get back into the game right here, because Infernal Drake, everyone's going to contest that. You're running a wombo combo compositions. You want the teams to be grouped anyway. And if you look at Kaisa, she still doesn't have any items.
The tidal wave stopping the Rift Herald channel. Core JJ says, you're going to try to disrespect me, well, you're going to eat an ultimate to the face.
I wonder if that's really worth it, though. My big question is that she's going to be missing that ultimate when it comes to the Infernal Dragon fight. So they're basically saving their mid lane tower, but giving up a lot of opportunities in that wombo combo.
Oh, dive onto Keen. He's got the Triforce for damage, but no resistances. Even though the minion wave is there, PK happily tanks it up and just runs circles around the turret while Bebe picks up his second kill of the game.
Man, Singe is just a monster these couple of patches. In Korea High Challenger, he's still coasting on over 60% win rate, and he's just unkillable and always gets the push. We've seen this from Zatai and Let Me coming out from the LPL, really just latching themselves onto that to execute the 1-3-1.
Yeah, the mechanics of the champion are so funny. He executed the dive flawlessly by literally walking in circles, not by auto-attacking or by dancing or showing us any cool mechanics, but just maneuvering around the turret so that he was slowly poisoning Keen and not losing aggro. So again, just love me some Singed meta.
Yeah, the thing about Singe in this meta is you just can't run away from him anymore. He has too many items. The Reverie, the Righteous Glory as well. Betty getting caught out here.
He is. He's actually chunked low, but still goes in. The Cannon Barrage, and he flashes away. Teleport. Coming across as Betty barely survives. Bebe steps up as Faker joins up with the rest of the team. Teleport completed from Keen.
And that was a bit of a...
Oh, that's the last breath. He catches onto Faker. They've got a lot of crowd control, and they've got enough to secure themselves their first kill of the game. Not sure if that stopwatch was necessary. Yeah. Maybe a bit of a misclick from the best player in the world.
Faker is a bit of a show-off. He just wants the Chinese Taipei team to feel bad about losing their dragon, and apparently it's not an Infernal Dragon. That's just part of the replay.
That's the base dragon icon. Looks like the next one is going to be another Cloud as PK. He's actually stepping into this. Kaisa's almost back into the fight. PK is still so low. He doesn't have his team. Bebe can't find an opening. Keen zones him away. A little overzealous there.
Yeah, I don't really understand that series of play. His team really wasn't close enough. It looks like it was just something he wanted to do for tempo, but I'm not sure if the flash was worth it. But on the flip side for Chinese Taipei, things probably didn't go as bad as they expected, because the Drake, Cloud Drake, not similar values to the Infernal.
And the next one is going to be another Cloud Drake, so not huge problem for Chinese Taipei to worry about unless they're expecting the Nami or Trundle pick, walking up and just dropping the pillar.
Yeah, and the difference here is that basically means Chinese Taipei doesn't need to contest this Drake, and it means that there really won't be much chances for Korea to get a full channel wombo combo. They need wombo combo more than just on the support. They need it on Betty to really seal the deal.
And it seems like that's the strategy that we're seeing out of Korea. Just group up, throw all of your crowd control onto one person and just kill them with the sheer amount of time that they'll be locked down with this composition. But as we get to the 18-minute mark so far, they've only had one good execution of that strategy. They're still down about 800 gold as it's 2 turrets to 1. Top going down to PK and bottom going down to Betty and Sword Art. So still, Chinese Taipei are the ones just barely eking out an advantage over Korea. But that's not stopping Korea from looking.
Yep, they do have a good answer to the 1-3-1 as well. Gameplank with his Triforce will be able to wave clear against the Singe. And at this point, I believe that Faker is able to 1v1 Maple quite easily as well.
If he can. Whoa, Bebe steps up into the jungle, gets caught for the bubble, but a smoke screen on the bush, keeps him safe. Minion wave crashing into the mid lane. True shot barrage, not for the minions, but for damage onto Betty and Sword Art, trying to deny any sort of dive or push pressure. As Chinese Taipei, they just group up in the mid lane, feign a push, and Korea are forced to respond. They cannot lose this tier 1 because they'll give up so much ground on the map.
Yeah, that's definitely the big advantage that Chinese Taipei does still have on the map, and that's the fact that Singe can be places on the map where Gangplank can't fall. He's too slow, he's being caught with the minion wave right there, so they can constantly do that, and even though it doesn't look like much, they are getting progressively more chip damage onto that mid lane tower. For the Korean side, however, we do have to mention that if they want to do the wombo combo, they need to catch out multiple people at the same time. They need to get probably Lulu or Karma at the same time. If they only catch Betty, those two shields are going to hop onto the same person.
Yeah.
And I don't even think he's going to get killed if they do catch him out at this point. So it's really important about how they get their combo pieces together.
We've already seen how squirrely this composition can be. Maple on that Lulu. We know how difficult it is to pin down that champion in one specific place. And then you add in the Karma Singed, and it's just everyone running all over the place, creating chaos while there's a Kaisa and the Graves firing fire down on top of you. Again, we'll have to see how the execution actually plays out for Chinese Taipei because they're still only about 300 gold ahead. We do now have the Stinger picked up for Betty. Luden's Echo finished off from Maple. Still no Ardent Sensor yet from Sword Art. So we're still waiting for some big item breakpoints, though the Guinsoo's was finished for Betty. I don't quite think Chinese Taipei are ready for the big fight that their composition has set them up towards, especially if Korea have got this much crowd control and are looking for a wombo combo.
They're basically looking for their 2-item spike on Betty at this point. This is the fabled AP build we're seeing. Nashers and Guinsoo does do a lot of damage and also unlocks the breakpoint for the Kaisa to get constant invisibilities in team fights.
I just love to point out what Bebe did there against Betty. We're actually seeing him arcane shift forward now multiple times. Flashes, but the dive. Betty gets the kill. Guinsoo's pops that Ezreal. I was about to say, I like how he's arcane shifting forward and just harassing Chinese Taipei back, but not respecting the Kaisa damage and getting bopped for it. That's going to give up this tier 1.
Yeah, so what happened there is on the first trade-off, Ezreal actually thought Betty would retreat. Betty didn't do that at all. He actually went into invisibility and went forward to try to catch up the Ezreal there. Successful 2 times. Ruler could not survive even with the flash.
Huge mistake from Ruler is going to cost him out as he calls the bluff, and Betty just all-ins to find that kill, and then the turret just afterwards. PK pushing up to a tier 2. Keen is already setting up the barrels. That Gangplank able to clear the minion wave pretty quick, and he still has the cannon barrage. Now Ruler is back up, but it's a great push between 2 lanes. Faker over the side. That's a big hit onto Betty. Pillar not quite going to catch Bebe, but there's the cannon barrage. Faker trying to catch up. Bebe slows. That's a Q3. And the flash gets him to safety. PK goes in, flings Core JJ right on out and finds himself a free support. Chinese Taipei just playing this push and pull right on the edge.
Yeah, that was a great vision denial from PK right there. He flashed out of a corner from an extended distance over the wall. Nobody expected that, and he got Core JJ straight off the bat. It was a bit,
that's the engage onto PK, and Faker goes down. Betty still doing some huge damage on this Kaisa as he's able to get into the back line once again, almost right on the cooldown. Finds himself a double kill, chasing on the Peanut. Still so very low health. Ruler, he's going to find one. No true shot barrage as that Void Seeker will miss, and still the rest of the team trying to dodge these Ezreal shots, but Maple might be left behind. The Pillar of Filth splitting him off here.
All of this right here.
Yeah, Core JJ will drop. Find the kill on the Maple. Sword Art and Betty splitting opposite directions. They're going to have to make a choice, and they are choosing the Karma. Peanut going to chase him down through the river. Another kill over to Ruler.
And a flash being expended by Sword Art right at the end right there. A completely unnecessary flash, but good composed play from Ruler to save the entire situation. We do see, however, the problem with the Yasuo combo at this point. If you don't hit the Lulu, you don't hit the Karma, you're not going to kill your primary target on the first burst. There's just too much shielding coming out.
And now Baron being started on the spawn. That blue trinket is going to spot it out. Betty's on the side. He's got himself the Seekers and finished off the Gnasher's Tooth, but Korea, they're at very low health. Core JJ still low. PK zoning away the rest of the team. The immediate turn onto PK. He's down to half health and even lower, turning and running, but that Singe does not have enough time. Bebe walks into the pit. The real danger has happened. Collateral damage. Betty from the side steps in. That's one. He's chasing down Keen now and gets himself the double kill. And the game is just ping-ponging back and forth. Chinese Taipei, oh, not finding that assassination onto Peanut.
Yeah, Faker definitely dodging out of the way as well. As we could see there, once Yasuo's ultimate is down, there is nothing to catch Betty out anymore. All of the crowd control is very hard to lock down. It's not hard crowd control at all. So Betty was able to go in 1v4 in that situation and force away the entire Korean team.
Bebe and Betty, the 280 carries, stepping up huge in that last team fight. I mean, Baron is picked up at 24 minutes for Chinese Taipei. They were sitting on a small incremental advantage that Betty had secured for them throughout the course of the game, but Betty finding a single moment of weakness in Korea's composure when Ruler steps up absolutely punishes them for it by setting up a chaotic series of following plays.
Yeah, definitely a lot of good plays all over the place coming out from Chinese Taipei. It really started with the wall flash from PK, getting that extra distance to knock out Core JJ, the shielding from the team. And I do have to say, I think they went a little bit overboard playing between those two towers in the mid lane, but they were still able to salvage the situation with a great play from Betty.
A huge performance from Chinese Taipei now sets themselves up and opens the map. The Cloud Dragon has spawned, but it looks like Chinese Taipei are just going to let it sit on the timer and run out the clock until we get closer towards that Elder Dragon and perhaps try to deny Korea, as they've got 5 members on this bottom half of the map. Of course, PK sitting in that mid lane as he's going to complete a quick recall. He's even got the teleport ready. Could we be seeing the Banner of Command next, as he might just have enough gold to outright buy it after those last skirmishes. Meanwhile, double Ardent Sensor finished off for both Maple and Sword Art. So those 80 carries are real big, real scary. Faker's making the best of it by split pushing in a side lane for a tier 1, but he's lost to tier 2, might lose an inhib here.
They need Faker too much. The entire composition is built around him, so Chinese Taipei are perfectly willing to sap one of their own towers to get a free inhibitor. There's nothing that Korea can do without their key component Wombo piece.
Perhaps a bit of miscommunication there. Maybe Faker was supposed to keep pushing and then recall if a fight were to break out. I'm not entirely certain how that happened. But now that's the first inhibitor down on that bottom half of the map, and Chinese Taipei are starting to open themselves up more of an advantage. Korea, they're using the recall window to get back onto the map and try to reset the minion wave, but this Baron is still up for another 2 minutes.
Yeah, we can definitely see the problems of having a team being drafted from 4 different organizations on the Korean team side. There was a little bit of miscommunication. I think Faker should have been back there into the bottom to defend a little bit earlier on that push. Just, you know, kind of posture around with the last breath to dissuade the engage, but he wasn't there on time, and that's actually a huge thing because that really does open up the timings for the next Baron buff as well.
Now he's currently sitting in that top lane. You can see the wave is being pushed out by Betty and Sword Art, and Peanut was nearby with the Pillar of Filth. So they might have just been looking for a brief assassination, but Chinese Taipei are not taking any chances. They're moving as 2 collective units across the map, and the knockup will land onto 3. But Faker has no backup and decides not to get the last breath in. The minion wave immediately crashes into the tier 2, and there's nothing Korea can do to defend it.
Yep, Chinese Taipei definitely throwing a lot of different angles into the Korean team, going for the 4-1 split push, and now grouping up as 5, both times catching out Korea off guard actually, and getting able to pick off objectives quite easily.
Now the siege has begun onto this inhibitor turret. Baron still going to be bringing minions in. They immediately walk up. There's no hesitation from Chinese Taipei. They know they've got the advantage. Flash fling, but Ruler is able to buffer out of it. Betty with the dive. He goes in. He gets a knock-up on the do. Wind wall denies his damage as Keen going to back away from the tether. That Spirit Link from Karma, but that's another inhibitor down as the Baron wears off. Chinese Taipei are not taking their time with this one. They're not giving Korea a chance to get back into this game.
And the balls on Betty is just unbelievable. He had that trust fall with his teammates. He knew that if he went in, there would be instant shielding on himself, and it was completely fine to do so. You never see marksmen go in against the entire enemy team on the front line like that.
We've got teleport into the top lane from PK. He actually recalled, finished off Randuin, and teleported right back in to just be a nuisance because the rest of Taipei, Chinese Taipei, are in a position to continue pushing this middle inhibitor. They have not completed a recall outside of PK, and they're just continuing to keep Korea in their base. Take a look at the wards on the map. There are 3 wards right now, 4, I believe, actually, on top, 1 more on top of Faker, that are providing vision outside of their own base, and this is just, yeah, this is complete siege. They managed to get a good hit onto Sword Art, Freddy, and Maple. Keen landing that barrel, plus a knockup onto PK. More harass coming out from Ruler, but Sword Art and the rest of Chinese Taipei are just whittling away the health on this turret.
Yeah, Korea right now, they don't really have the damage to take down Chinese Taipei's carry threats, even if they play from the front line. The game plank is still very far away from being a consistent damage threat right now, and Yasuo has to pick his moments absolutely correctly, or if he goes down, the game's just probably over. So you can see a lot of hesitancy on the Korean side, and just trying to weather the storm, trying to get more items, especially onto Keen at this point.
Trying to get that gangplank to scale a little bit more. We can see the damage that 8.10 Ezreal is doing when he's able to land just 2 or even 3 arcane shots onto a target. That sets up so much, but Chinese Taipei, anytime they take any hits, they just back away and play it slow. When they're at full health, they don't hesitate to rush in the front door. You already mentioned the nuisance that is a Singed. Now there's a Karma Lulu behind that Singed to speed him up even more. And without a flash on Ruler, that could very well be the next target and just put all of the eggs for Korea into the Faker basket. He's good, but can he outplay 5 members of Chinese Taipei with a 6,000 gold advantage?
I mean, we've definitely seen Faker do some really stupid things before, like crazy things right here, but he needs to, like, basically step up and make the biggest play of his career. He needs, like, a 5-man knockup or something. It has to be miraculous. Chinese Taipei are not respecting
Betty, with no hesitation, dives in to finish off the turret, straight into the back line for a double kill. Make that a triple kill. Turning onto Keen. Faker's on the other side of the fight, and that's the quadra kill. Faker running away. Come on, Black Betty, bam, ba damn. That's the quadra as Chinese Taipei turn onto the Nexus and absolutely tear apart Korea in this game 1.
Yasuo wasn't even able to get into the fight. He was playing around with Bebe, but Betty went straight in and killed the entire backline by himself. No hesitation.
Oh, they're chasing down the Penta, but no, the communication is denied. Bebe will go down, but the Nexus crumbles. Chinese Taipei take the game.